Hi everybody, Vinyl Chef Steve here. Today I'm going to show you how to make authentic churros. Churros take me back to my childhood where I can remember back in the 70s, the early 70s, we would take trips to Baja, Mexico. And down at the fishing ramp, there was always this little old man with this huge pot of oil and a gigantic churro gun. You think this thing's big? Man, his thing looked like a bazooka. And it was filled with dough, and he would make these huge rings of churros. There weren't any eggs or butter or vanilla or any of those ingredients down there where he was mixing his dough. No, and it was just water, salt, sugar, and baking powder and flour. That's it. Trust me, this dough recipe is the way to go. Here's everything you're gonna need to make these delicious churros. Some canola oil for frying, some pure cane granulated sugar, some ground cinnamon, some bread flour, some water, some baking powder, a nice mixing bowl, a flour sifter or a sieve like you see there with the wooden spoon, a nice sturdy wooden spoon to mix your dough, doesn't hurt, a cake rack or cookie rack as you see right here, and a cookie sheet lined with paper towels, and lastly a dredging station over here for your cinnamon sugar mixture. And way up in the corner over there you'll need a fairly good size, if you have something, pot, 10-inch in diameter, preferably with high sides. All the measurements and quantities for these ingredients and to make everything will be in the description below. And the last thing you'll need is one of these. Yeah, you don't really need one of these, but this is a churro gun, and this is what I use because my wife, being my biggest fan, and you know, always looking out for me, when she found out I wanted to make a churro video, right away she went online and found me a nice little churro gun to make it easier. You don't necessarily need a churro gun. You can do it with a piping bag. You can use empty yogurt cups and cut the star out in the bottom and push the dough through with another yogurt cup. All right, we're gonna sift 2 cups of our bread flour. Add 2.5 cups of room temperature water to a saucepan. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Mix together and bring to a rolling boil on your stove. Be sure to bring to a rolling boil before you add to the flour, or else your dough will not activate and thicken. Time to add our boiling water to our flour mixture. Mix until thoroughly combined and all the flour is pulled away from the sides of the bowl. We're gonna let it cool for about 30 minutes. So we got our dough, which is cooled down enough here to handle. I put some gloves on just to keep it from sticking to my hands too much. And I basically just roll it like so into little cylinders like this. And then we can drop it in. And just keep on going. Do a little bit at a time. Push it down in with your fingers again. And do this until you get your gun full. Now lay out a 30-inch piece of parchment paper. We're gonna pre-cut our churros about 2 inches in length over some parchment paper, or you can use wax paper if that's what you have. And the reason we're pre-cutting them is so that we can add them to the hot oil faster. We're gonna add 15 churros to the oil in each batch. And this batch will yield you anywhere from maybe 70 to 75 little churro bites. It's time to gently add our churros one at a time to our oil, which has been preheated to 380 degrees. The oil will drop in temperature to
between 350 and 360 once you add your churros, which is ideally where you want it for the frying process. You're gonna fry your churros for 4 minutes, turning them about halfway through the frying process with some tongs, as you see here. This will assure even browning, and just keep an eye on them and make sure that they brown evenly, turning them accordingly. Once they're fried, then take a strainer, like you see here, a frying strainer or a slotted spoon, and remove your churros and place them over on your draining station. Oh yeah, look at those, nice and golden brown and crispy and delicious. So continue this process until you've gone through all of your dough. Listen to this. So crispy on the outside, and the inside is just decadent and fluffy. These are amazing. You will not miss eggs, milk, and butter in these churros. All right, so this churro recipe yields about 75 little bite-sized churros like this. Now we're gonna take them and we're gonna toss them in our cinnamon sugar. Get them in here. Oh, we just lost one. No, out of bounds. Just toss them around in here. As much or as little as you like, and then throw them off to the side. Just turn them in there like that on all sides. There you go. And that's what they should look like. Just like that. That's a beautiful bite-sized churro covered in cinnamon sugar, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. So we'll finish getting these dredged, and then I'll show you the way I like to eat them. That's it. You got about 75 to 80 bite-sized churros out of this recipe. And what I chose today, you can do this if you like. I've got some amazing real maple syrup here. And I've also got some bacon bits that I made this morning, some fresh bacon bits right here. The little spoon. I'll dip this in some nice maple syrup, take it over yonder. We'll put a little bit of bacon on there, just like that. And there you got a maple bacon churro. Yep. Crispy, sweet, salty, tender, absolute amazement. So good. Sticking with the Latino theme, try this dip. This is honey and red chili. Yeah, you make a red chili using chile de árbol and a couple of guajillo chilies, and then you just mix some of that with some honey, and man, it is dynamite. It's the best of sweet and spicy, and man, I wish you could taste this one. This is probably my favorite. Sweet heat, salty, crispy, tender, delicious. These are definitely a touchdown. You can use any kind of dip that you like. Some people like to dip it in Nutella with almonds. Some people like to dip them just in honey. Some people like to dip them in melted chocolate or caramel sauce. There's all kinds of dips that you can choose. They're fantastic just as they are. Just like this, they are amazing. But it's fun to have, you know, some creativity at the party. This is nothing like the churros that you get
in the freezer that you pop in the oven. I would put these up against the Disneyland churros that everybody talks about. Remember, we're not making huevos rancheros or huevos ranchuros here. Our churros have no dairy, no eggs, no butter, no milk, no vanilla, just flour, salt, sugar, and baking powder, and they taste amazing. This tastes exactly like what I remember when I was a kid down at the boating ramp in Baja, Mexico. Try these out for the big game. Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. I'm sure if you do something like this, you'll blow away your crowd. So thanks for watching this episode of Vinyl Chef Steve. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.